Taylor Rapp here from the LA Rams. Shout out to Steve Taylor, the real sports guy, and the honorary Ram. When Steve talks sports, you better listen. Thanks, Steve from the Rams, for your continued support and love. We are taking it all the way this year, but you already know that. Go Rams.
It's Albert Prince Bell, 21-0, checking in, and you rocking with Keeping It Real Sports. And we gonna be on these. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Sports.
Saturday morning, Andy.
Oh, yeah,
another
Steve.
Saturday morning, man. The Glass City is snowing. We don't care. We got it hot in here. I'm the real sports guy, Steve Taylor. He is the Sandman, Andy Sanzada. Sandman, we got the gift that keeps giving, the NFL draft. When we talk draft, we got to look at the top quarterbacks. When we do that, we got to go to the coach. We got Tom Cole, the coach. He's going to break down quarterbacks. Give me your thoughts on that, buddy.
I can't wait to talk to Tom. It's been way too long. You know, Tom and I did the first ever broadcast at BCSN back in 2003, and
wow.
A lot of memories there between the three of us, no doubt about that. But we got a big show to get to, Steve. We got to make up for not having a show last week, so let's get right to the quick hitters.
Quick hitters!
Quick hitters.
All right, we
first,
had a couple of national championships take place in between our last show. And the gentleman thing to do is to allow the ladies to go first, and that would be the South Carolina Gamecocks. Congratulations. Back-to-back national championships, and they did it against UConn, Steve, and a team that a lot of people didn't think would get there, got there, but South Carolina just too much, and now Dawn Staley could be looking at an NBA job maybe. I don't know.
Well, actually, this is their second overall national championship. They failed on their bid last year. You remember the tears we saw from Aaliyah Boston last year, where they came up a little bit short against the eventual national champion, the Stanford Cardinals.
Oh, that's right.
We saw tears this year of joy as she was dominant in her 34 and 34 performance, and she was named the MOP of the tournament. Man, my hat's off to them and the Toledo native, Zia Cook, who added 11 points in that championship game.
Well, then we had the men on Monday night, and what a game this was. I mean, the largest comeback in NCAA tournament history. Kansas comes back from being down 16 points at one point in the first half. And, Steve, they just really stepped it up defensively. They forced North Carolina into a lot of turnovers. But at the same time, I think that youth and inexperience finally came to fruition and cost North Carolina a couple of mental mistakes there late in the second half. But the ultimate difference was the person that you and I thought would be the big guy in the middle, McCormick, the senior, gets it done. When you need a basket, you go to the big guy. It's still old school. It doesn't matter. You don't shoot a three. You get the ball inside. You score the easy bucket, and they did that, and their defense just really picked it up in that second half. And congratulations to Bill Self on another national title.
Absolutely, but Andy, it goes back to what I'm saying. When I broke down my picks for what I looked at is teams that had senior leaders and upperclassmen, and we saw that's what you're going to get. You know what I mean? You're going to get big performances and big outings from your senior classmen. We saw it from McCormick. My hat's off to Kansas. What's next?
Well, this is my favorite week of the year, Steve. It's Masters weekend, and what a couple of storylines we have going into the tournament, and now that we're here on the weekend passing the cut. Tiger Woods able to make the cut, thankfully, yesterday. Really struggled with the wind conditions. I watched this round, Steve, and honestly, it wasn't just Tiger that was struggling. Everybody but Scottie Scheffler did not like the conditions on the golf course yesterday. But man, he is the one to beat right now. Number 1 in the world, only 25 years old. Won last week at the Valero Texas Open. And then to me, this was the bigger story, even though, Tiger's comeback is always a story. But, the field has grown so much since Tiger has kind of had to pull back, Steve. Golf is such an exciting sport, and people kind of shake their head when I say that. But these young kids can really play. Look at the Olympics. Look at the Ryder Cup last year. It was really entertaining. And I can't wait for Masters weekend. And I think the weather's going to cooperate other than the winds once again.
Cold and windy once again.
Cold and windy is better than not being on the golf course. So I'll take that. And I'm really excited to see if he can hold on to this lead or if the defending champion, Hideki Matsuyama, who's only 5 strokes back, can put together another round like he did yesterday and make a run
only
as well.
5 strokes behind. Man, Scotty Scheffler, man, he is getting up and down. And when he's getting up and down, man, he is shooting for bird, man, and he's knocking these down in the middle of the cup, man. He's not lifting these things off, man. This dude is in another zone. The shot he made on 16 was ridiculous. When he dropped it off left to the cup and just let it roll down and just tapped it in. I mean, this dude is in another zone. Scotty Scheffler is flat balling, but the fact that Tiger Woods is there, his expectations are higher than what you thought they would be. At least this man is going to play, and I can't wait to hear that roar on Sunday when he's got on that red jacket. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's special. I mean, that shot he hit in round 1 on 6 got the roar going already, and it was only day 1. So it is a different atmosphere with Tiger on the course, but there's a lot of golf to be played, Steve. I think this is going to be a hell of a tournament and a fun weekend for sure. All right, we had the Major League Baseball opening day started on Thursday. A lot of games getting underway Thursday and then continuing on to Friday. But the biggest news came out of Cleveland as far as players. And that was that the owner of the Guardians, God, I hate saying that.
No, they're the Guardians. Say it.
No, they're the Cleveland baseball team to me. All right,
the
you
Guardians.
cannot take away my childhood. You call them what you want. They're not that team to me. All right. Anyways, he listened to my sound off a couple weeks ago because he went out and signed this man instead of trying to trade him. Gave him a 4-year, $124 million deal. That was good to see. But Steve, they're not even going to win 80 games this year. They're not a good baseball team. They don't have enough offense. So it's going to be a long season for both of us, even though you got to win on opening night, and I didn't.
Yeah, but they went right back to normal yesterday, so I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. But my biggest takeaway is the bench is clearing ball that from the knockdown of the Mets player, man, your former player, got knocked down in the bench.
Lindor.
Yeah, here we go already. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Bro,
they got to do something to make baseball entertaining. And actually, did you hear about the new device that the catchers are using now, so they don't have to put their hands down?
Here we go. Whatever, man. Come on, it's
too much technology for me.
It's still a sign. Stop.
One more thing to wrap up quick hitters with, and we got to do this because we didn't get to talk about it last week, but I got you on this one, buddy. WrestleMania 38 weekend was absolutely spectacular. 1 billion views for WWE, the most ever. Just outstanding.
I accidentally saw it, Andy.
Accidentally. You recorded it and watched both of them. Don't try to go there, all right? And then you sent me a text last night that you're going to keep watching it. So there you go.
Well, we'll talk.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we only have time for 3 highlights. So for me, obviously, Roman winning both championships was the fantastic end to a great weekend. But 2 that to me were more exciting was the return of Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare left WWE 6 years ago as Stardust, went to AEW, built up that organization, built up his character, now gets to come back and live out his dream of trying to chase the championship that his daddy won. And then this man right here. Is there anybody in sports entertainment more entertaining than Pat McAfee? I mean, what a show he put on, Steve. And then, he sold the stunner as well, drinking beer in the ring with Steve Austin. And I'm going to answer that question. He's better for wrestling, okay? His show is good, but the reason it's good is because he's got AJ Hawk to make some sense out of things that he doesn't know about. So he's better for wrestling.
No, that's not true. AJ Hawk is a part-timer on that show. Let's just keep it real. Barstool Sports is dope. I love him in broadcasting. He gives us the platform to say the things that we say, the outlandish things that we say, and make it okay. True. I love Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I do too. And you know, if there's anybody that was deserving of a $30 million contract, I guess it would be him, right? So he's done a lot for sports entertainment overall. And, you know, it was really great to see him tell the real reason he retired from the NFL, which was to get in the ring at WrestleMania. Yeah. So there we go. There's our quick hitters.
Let's get in our quick hitters. But see, man, so we're going to do our, what we call our
we got to break down our draft big boards now. We got to bring in a special guest to do that.
And we're going to do that in what we call a hurry up, but we're going to hurry up and bring in a good friend of the show, man. Let's bring him in.
Some remember our next guest as just a quarterback or just a coach. We just called him a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cole.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Andy. Hey, listen, you guys, I love your intro to your show. I love the quick hitters. I love the energy, what you guys do and your opinions. I'll tell you, you guys should be proud. You've got yourself a really terrific show.
Well, that means a lot coming from you, Tom. And, you know, it's hard to believe it was almost 20 years ago that you and I kicked off BCSN, isn't it?
It is, Andy. You know, and you and Steve are like founding fathers of sports everywhere in Toledo, and BCSN included, obviously. And, you know, I just love what you're doing with your show. It has energy. There are new insights. You cover all kinds of sports. I like the fresh concepts. You know, a lot of times in sports shows, people repeat the same things, the same concept. You guys bring fresh views and excitement. And, Steve, I owe you kudos for your Rams, man. I'll tell you what, I give you a lot of credit. They did a great job.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people didn't believe it, Tom, but yeah, we had a great year, and we're looking to back that up. So Tom, as we do that, I mean, you're the quarterback, you're the coach, you understand what needs to be done in the NFL. So when we started talking offensive side of the football and quarterbacks in particular and breaking them down, we wanted to get your point of view. So Tom, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some highlights from some of our big board. This is our big board. We've got Malik Willis, number one. Kenny Pickett, number two. I mean, this is not necessarily how they're going to come off the board, but this is how we have them ranked. And so what I'm going to do is show you some footage of a lot of these guys. And we're going to start with Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. So as we take a look at it, I mean, tell me, what do you like about Desmond Ridder?
Well, I like Desmond because he's got solid fundamentals, solid mechanics. He's a 4-year guy. He has 44 career wins. But, guys, and I know the way you guys cover sports, you guys know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. He ran a legitimate 4.5 and a 40. I mean, a real 4.5, not one of those, you know, where we go out in the parking lot and, yeah, it was 4.7 or whatever. 4.5. So he's got great mobility. He's fundamentally solid. He's big enough at 6'3". I think the height thing, guys, and I don't know what you feel about that. We'll get into it later probably, but the height thing is a deal. And you know, the way the game is played today, you must be able to see over the top of folks. And if you can't, then you got to run a Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson offense, which you can be obviously tremendously successful, but you need the height.
Tom, we're looking at highlights now of Sam Howell, and to me, you know, he gives me a lot of images that remind me of Baker Mayfield. Just the way he plays the game, the way he can lead his team, but he's built just like him as well. But I think that height issue is the reason that the Browns moved on from Baker so quickly, because that was a real problem, especially considering they had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Andy, that's all salient points. Howell has got a lot of potential. I had somebody tell me he was pretty knowledgeable and has seen him a lot. He's maybe one of the best deep throwers out of college football to throw the deep ball. Worry a little bit about the height. You know, he's extremely mobile. He's a dynamic player. He can make plays. But again, with these guys, anybody that's 6 foot, 6'1", you're going to have to find windows for them to be able to throw the football. You know, Cleveland did it for a while with Baker, and he did a pretty good job. You move him around, you move Russell around. But the height, guys, I'm telling you, everybody rushing these guys is 6'6", 6'7". You got to be able to see over the top.
Well, now we're seeing video of Malik Willis, which I know is everybody's number one, at least people that know what they're talking about. And you can see why, Tom. He's just got a great arm, and the athleticism is unquestioned.
Tom,
Well,
to
again-
me, his NFL comparison would be Steve McNair.
Yeah, hey, I love Steve McNair. He's one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks, and a guy who, to me, never got as much credit as he really should have. Yeah, Malik is a real talent from Liberty. There's no question about him. I call him Top Gun because he's got one of those arms that comes along that you gotta really give him an opportunity. He's mobile. Again, he's dynamic. The only thing that could be an issue here, guys, is, the accuracy. And when you're playing quarterback, a lot of people think they can fix the accuracy. That can be tough to do because fixing accuracy with quarterbacks is two things. It's actually three things. It's the passing motion, it's your footwork and mechanics, and then putting them in an offense where identifying the throws they can make and replicating those throws. Bill Walsh, when he had Joe Montana, looked at every bit of film on Joe Montana and took plays out of the playbook that he didn't throw so well. So, improving accuracy, you just don't automatically flip a switch and a guy becomes an accurate thrower. But you guys are spot on. You got your stuff nailed down. Malik is a real talent.
And then you looking at Kenny Pickett here. He's probably the most NFL ready based on what the scouts are saying. But, Tom, are they making too big of a deal out of the size of his hand, or is that a legitimate concern?
Andy, I'm so glad you said that. And, Steve, you guys know your stuff, man. I'll tell you what. Well, they measure his hand 8.5, and he has the disjointed thumb, which they're saying that obviously it didn't affect him throwing the football. He's a 4-year guy. He had 42 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions last year. He broke all of Dan Marino's records. That speaks pretty loudly to me. The hand deal, guys, I think is totally bogus. If you have a smaller hand, all you do on the football is you move up closer to the point. You put your index finger up closer to the point. If your index finger gets up toward the point, it actually gives you more control of the football. Terry Bradshaw doesn't have small hands, but he's an index thrower. You watch Bradshaw throw a football, go back and look at old tapes. His index finger is all the way over the top of the point of the football. So that's all you do is just move up. Hey, he played in Pittsburgh. He played in bad weather. Kenny Pickett did. The hand deal is no deal at all. And I think you're right, Andy. He's ready to play. He's a smart guy. Did you guys see the one he breaks out of the pocket? Steve, you'd love this. He breaks out of the pocket, and he acts like he's in a full run. And you know where I'm going to smart, Andy. I think
we just showed that. I just had that highlight up where he looks like he's going to go down, and then he takes off and runs a touchdown.
Yeah, have you ever seen a quarterback do that? Are you talking about heads up? He crouches down like he's going down. He's going a full gallop, crouches down. They stop and he goes. He's ready to play football. He really, truly is. And, guys, these people that talk about, there's no quarterbacks. Guys, can I tell you this? I don't know if you guys agree, but I think it's total bunk. There's quarterbacks every year coming out, and it's what you do with them, what kind of system you put in for them, what you put around them. You develop them. You make them. Joe Montana never, ever happens without Bill Walsh. Does not happen. I mean, he put a great defense around him, a good running game, excellent receivers, great play calling, and certainly Joe has talent, but he was not revered as any great, great talent coming out of college. He was good, not great.
Well, we talk about the quarterbacks, but as you just said, Tom, you've got to have the talent around them, right? So now let's take a look at our big board on the wide receivers, because this one is going to be just as talented, if not more. And this is the cream of the crop in this year's draft. Would you not agree?
Yeah, and I'm going to leave the receivers to you guys, only because you guys have really studied it. I kind of just tend to go with the quarterbacks, but I'll give you two thoughts on it. First of all, when people ding people at wide receiver or receiver because they're not big enough, everybody wants a 6'3", 220-pound. Well, yeah, obviously. I want to take, Miss America to the prom. I get that. But the NFL, I'm already actually married to Miss America, to be honest with you guys. I
was waiting for that.
I way. Anybody seen my wife? I've way outkicked my coverage. But in the NFL, they don't beat receivers up anymore. You can be thin in the NFL and play receiver. It's not a deal. Yes. They do not beat you up. It's a different game. But I love the two kids from Ohio State. I think I know people think Wilson's better than Olave. I think they're both terrific. But Olave, to me, I thought he saw a lot of double coverage. His ability to get deep is incredible. In the NFL, he will become a prime deep target for somebody. I like the two Ohio State kids.
I think Garrett Wilson is going to go before Olave because, Steve, you talked about the fact that he just likes to go and high point the football. He doesn't wait for it to come to him, and I think a lot of NFL quarterbacks and coaches are looking for that type of receiver.
If you look at this guy right here, I think Garrett's going to go before Chris Olave. He'll be the first one off. But this guy right here, London Drake from USC, a big kid, 6'5" kid, reminds me so much of the kid Mike Evans from Tampa Bay. Big body. The thing I like about him is he will go out. He's got a high point to football, runs very physical nature, will run over you. He's got to learn how to run more precise routes. But when you're big, you can just put it up. This kid will go get it. He's a big-time playmaker. But speaking of Garrett Wilson, I liken him to Odell Beckham. His ability to be able to jump up and high point the football, and then the way that he's a game breaker when he gets the ball in his hands. Olave to me is more of a route runner. He'll route you up and really get at the top of his routes fast. I kind of liken him to a Robert Woods, to where he'll route you up more so than anything. I love the big play capability of the kid Garrett Wilson.
Hey guys, didn't Wilson, if I remember correctly, didn't he make the catch against Michigan where he went outside the guy's body and caught it outside the defender's body? I've never seen that done before.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's a special kind of athlete. He's got the speed. He's got the talent. The best wide receiver coach in college football, Brian Hartline, showed him how to run routes. And, the funny part is we're talking about Olave and Wilson this year. Everybody's drooling already over Jackson Smith and Jigba for next year because he's the best route runner in college football.
Look, I saw an interview with the three of them. And, if you ask me, and Tom, you will back this up 100%. Tom, if someone asks you, you're in a room full of guys and say, who's the best player in the room, you're going to say me.
Yeah, Roy, absolutely. Absolutely.
They didn't say that.
Everyone, to a man, every one of them looked at Jackson Smith and Jigba and said him. So that told me something about that kid. Yeah. Because I know what these kids can do. I know what Olave can do, and I know what Garrett Wilson can do. But when they look at Jackson and Marvin Harrison, and then this kid, Jamison Williams, he couldn't even get on the field with these kids. He had to go to Alabama.
He had to go to Alabama and then play in a national championship and tear his knee, unfortunately, because I think that's a different game if he doesn't get hurt. But
hey, guys, can I ask you one other quarterback caveat? What do you guys think of Matt Corral from Mississippi? They say I've got some good friends that do this professionally, and they've timed his release and throwing the football. And the quickest college release ever recorded was Dan Marino. It was 2.2, something like that. And Corral's 1.7, 1.8. That's how quick his release is with the football. It's quicker than Dan Marino. But he plays in a Lane Kiffin offense. So you got to ask yourself the question, is it more the offense? Because Kiffin throws it coming off the bus, or is this kid a real talent?
I think he's got talent, Tom. I don't think he's NFL ready yet. I think he's got to sit behind a veteran and understand coverages and things like that in the NFL, because when you're, and you can attest to this, when you're a quarterback and your coach says just go out and sling it,
right?
That's what you do, but that's not always in the best interest of the offense. So I think that he can go. I look for him to go in the second round. I don't think he's going to go in the first round unless, a team trades up that needs a quarterback, but there really aren't a lot of those right now. You're seeing that firsthand because the Browns can't trade Baker Mayfield. So,
they can't trade that $18 million.
Well, that's part of it, yes. But, Corral to me, he was in the Heisman talk all year until he got hurt.
Right.
So he's got the talent, but I think that he's got to learn when to go for down the field and when to take the check down. I think I saw a lot of interceptions where he was trying to force the ball into double coverages, things like that. And he's got to know when to run and when not to as well, because he likes to scramble, and that can get him into trouble.
The thing about Matt Corral, man, to me, his NFL comparison would be Derek Carr. He's a guy that's really not going to really wow you. I think his ceiling is more so like a Dak Prescott, and that's what I'm looking at these quarterbacks. Can you be a game changer? Well, when I look at that board, I only see one potential game changer. Now, I see guys that can come in and play the position. I think Kenny Pickett can come in and play the position. I think he'll get the first chance. I think he'll come off the board at 6 to Carolina. And if Pittsburgh is smart, they'll go up and get Malik Willis before he falls, because Tom, you were like screaming at me like the Detroit Lions should grab Malik Willis today,
Yeah, right. It's quarterback league, guys.
Would you take him at 2, Tom?
I'd probably get hammered for saying this from folks all over America, but I would. I understand the pass rusher guy. The 2 edge rushers are great. I get that. They're game changers. But when I look at Steve's Rams, okay, as good as Donald is and the difference that he made, and he knocked down the one pass, and he is a difference maker, do you get there without Stafford? Everything else is the same. Do you get there without Stafford? I say no. I say it's a quarterback league. I said you got to keep grabbing quarterbacks till you get a guy that works. And it's a process. And nobody wants to develop kids because of the finances. They just throw them in. They get beat up. They get discouraged. John Elway in his first game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, against the Steel Curtain, is playing in Pittsburgh. He's a rookie. Elway, obviously, an immense talent. He's going to be great, right? But he's a rookie. He came out of the game and he went to his coach, Reeves. He was crying and he asked him to be taken out of the game because he cannot play this game. So, I mean, this is not an easy position to play. If it makes Elway cry, I got a feeling, they don't put the time in to develop these people. Put an offense around them that makes sense. Invest in them. Give them confidence. Surround them with people that will make them better. But if you don't have a quarterback, you are in trouble. I don't care what the rest of your personnel is.
Before we let you go, I got to ask you this as a friend and as a Browns fan. Did the Browns make the right move moving on from Baker Mayfield, or did they give up on him too quickly?
I'm in the latter, Andy. I feel that here's what Baker did to me. He played hurt. And as a quarterback, when you play hurt, when you're not 100%, what was Baker last year? Probably that injury. He was probably playing at best at 60%, at best. He's a tough guy. He proved he's a tough guy. But people don't care after the season that you played hurt. They just look at the interceptions, the touchdowns, and the results. I would have stayed with Baker. They've got the best running game in football. They've got one of the best offensive lines in football. They have a pretty solid defense. They had all the components. All they had to do was get Baker doing what he does best, and that is play-action passing. He's a play-action thrower. You fake to those great running backs. When you play-action pass, and you guys know this, it's the easiest passing to do. It cuts the field in half. You're just throwing to one side. You make the fake, you look to your right, and it's A or B. It's totally different throwing than getting the shotgun snap and looking over the whole field and trying to find 5 guys. Baker did that well. They should have, in my opinion, they should have stayed with him. I think he would have been healed up and maybe led him to the playoffs.
There you go. From the coach's mouth, Steve.
Yeah. Hard to argue. Tom, I thank you so much, Tom. I mean, man, anytime I need you, you've always been there for me. I really appreciate you, man. And what people don't know, Andy was the guy that opened the door for me to get into broadcasting in Toledo. Tom Cole is the guy that held the door open for me. And I thank you for that, Tom.
Yeah, and Andy, he's one of the founding fathers of BCSN. He did a great job. Steve, you've been a local legend broadcasting here in Toledo. I told you how hard you work on your craft. I'm excited for you guys. Man, you guys have a great show. This is a really good sports show.
Thanks, Tom. It means a lot coming from you. And
it does.
We got to have you back closer to the draft now so you can give us your thoughts on picks.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tom.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Man, Steve,
it don't
that
get
brings
much
back
better
some
than
great
that, man.
memories.
Man,
Man,
yeah.
it brings back
Yeah.
some great memories. You know,
It really does. It really
It's,
does.
I mean, I remember to this day where we were for that first broadcast. We were at Owens Community College, and there we were introducing
Don't
everybody.
get me
and-
started, man. Y'all
I
froze
know.
me out, man. I got all of the cold gigs that y'all didn't want to do. So,
Hey, you got to do them with me, and that's all that matters.
A
right?
lot of times it was you and I. It
Yeah,
was you and I.
exactly.
Yeah,
the
so-
A team, as they used to always call us.
Yeah. So let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Oh, you better bring your A game today, buddy. You shouldn't have came here today. I'm ready for you today. I'm ready for you today.
I had you last time. Let's go.
I'm ready for you today.
All right, where do you want to start?
We're going to start with head-to-head MVP. Who you got? The Joker,
All right, Steve.
Embiid, or Giannis. And don't come with no soft arguments.
I'm not coming soft, okay? There's a reason I picked this particular picture out to put up on the board, okay? It's him. It's Embiid. It's got to be Joel Embiid. What else can he do to win MVP? He's averaging 30 points a game. He's the only reason Philadelphia is where they are in the Eastern Conference, and that was before they went and got James Harden. It's got to be Joel Embiid. I get it. Giannis has won one before. Joker has won one before. They're both deserving of it. But come on, Steve. This is a career year for him. They got to find a way to reward him for it. He's got to get the MVP. 30 points a game. 30 points a game.
Look, man, I'm not into handing out, man. Everybody gets a damn award. You gave the Joker one last year, and you're saying that he's a worthy one this year. His damn team is one game from being in the playing game. So how am I supposed to make him the MVP? Can't do it. I don't care. I'm
That's why
gonna tell you who the
I didn't pick
MVP is. The MVP is that guy. It's because he is guilty of LeBron James-itis because you didn't gave it to him once, you didn't gave it to him twice, you didn't give it to him last year. So he said, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna go to the NBA championship and win that damn MVP on the way to a title. And see, he's on his way to doing it again. And oh, by the way, when he played your MVP just the other day, didn't he block his shot to win the game for his team?
Yeah.
I'm just saying the real MVP is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Period. End of story.
All right, I'll give you that one. 1-0, Steve. All right, what number 2? Where are we going next?
Let me ask you this. Who is really to blame for the Lakers missing the playoffs? How about this one?
Oh, boy. All right, listen. I have always been a man of my word. You can ask my wife. And I've always been a man who stands behind what he says, okay, with conviction. And with conviction, I am telling you that I was right 3 weeks ago when you asked me the same question about why they're struggling. It's that guy in the sweatshirt. He's the problem. He is the problem, okay? They had a chance to get DeMar DeRozan instead of Russell Westbrook, Steve. What happens if LeBron allows that to happen? They're in the playoffs. They might even win another title. LeBron says, no, I want Westbrook. Okay, we'll go get Westbrook. How'd that work out for you? Okay, he's the problem. He has too much power. Every organization he goes to, and it finally bit somebody in the ass.
See, I said 3 weeks ago that it was Frank Vogel. And I'm going to double down. However, I'm going to add management to that. Because, see, management, last time I checked, the owners of the Los Angeles Lakers was Jeannie Buss and the Buss family, okay? And who was running the team is the two Rambuses, or should I call them Rambi? So the Rambi and the Laker organization is to blame to that. Because if you have a deal in place to bring in a DeMar DeRozan and Buddy Hield, and you don't look at this guy over here. No. Let's start with there. Start up top. That's where I'm gonna start at.
All right.
The Rambi. How about that one?
Yeah, you pulled that out on Passover weekend too. I like that. All right, what are we closing the show with? We got one more.
Okay, speaking of Laker front office, was Magic Johnson out of line for revealing Laker matters?
I'm going to say no, and here's why, okay? If there's anybody...
Okay, take us back to what happened.
Okay, what do you mean what happened?
What happened with here, let me take you back. Magic Johnson,
you take me back.
No, Magic Johnson appeared on ESPN's First Take this week, and he specifically laid out who was to blame for the Lakers' demise this year. And he said part of the blame was LeBron, but he also said that he called Rob Pelinka after DeMar DeRozan's people called him and said that DeMar wanted to come to LA. So all he did was facilitate it and thought it was a done deal. And so now that it's not a done deal and the Lakers have missed the playoffs, now we're getting the story. Was Magic out of line?
I don't think he was out of line because he's Magic Johnson, Steve. He won 5 championships. He coached the team. He is a Laker for life. He is the Los Angeles Lakers. All these years later, all these players later, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. And that's only because Kobe is not around anymore, by the way. Magic can do and say what he wants in LA, Steve. LeBron can't. It's that simple. So, yes, he was not out of line because he's Magic freaking Johnson. He can say what he wants. He can do he can do whatever he wants, and nobody's going to say anything otherwise.
See, here, let me tell you what's really going on here. Magic did his friend Jenny Buss a favor because this was an attempt to get our damn franchise back from the aforementioned LeBron James. Okay,
yeah.
This is telling them like, look, this dude spearheaded this, not us. Now we wanted to bring in DeMar DeRozan. Let's just say that now DeMar DeRozan is having a great regular season. Now let me preface that by saying, people, that he was a Spur, and what did I call him as a Spur, Andy? DeMar the regular season.
Yeah, exactly.
DeMar the regular season. It is still the regular season. I'm just saying. But however, at least you wouldn't be on the outside looking in. But
no.
Hill, and then you still have Alex Caruso because you wouldn't have to trade him. So that now the defenders that you had, KCP, those are the defenders. Those are the length. You know, you can't defend. You can't guard a chair right now.
And what's ironic about this is Caruso went to Chicago to play with DeRozan.
To play with DeMar the regular season.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's see if Steve.
Yeah.
Don't forget, criticize him all you want, but no, wait, he wasn't on that Raptors team that won, was he?
No, he was with my
That's
Spurs.
right. All right, I digress. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So, but there you go. No sound off this week. We couldn't. We didn't have enough time.
Man. My goodness, man. We got so much coming up, man. We got the playoffs that'll be next week.
Yep.
We've got the draft that'll be coming up in 2 weeks. So we're gonna keep going on with draft. Next week we're gonna do edge rushers and cornerbacks. I can't wait to break down the cornerbacks. Man, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes. Don't forget the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to start in 2 weeks.
That's coming up. Hey, let me tell you, the Blues are 6-1 in their last 7. I'm just saying. Remember to like and subscribe to Keeping It Real Sports. And remember, by all means, tell us what you want to hear on Keeping It Real Sports. We appreciate all of your comments. We'd like to get those up. And I'd like to give a special thanks to our guest today, Tom Cole, the coach. Andy, it's been fun, but my goodness,
it's always been fun, but we got to run.
Yeah, man. So, Andy, until next week.
We wish you love.
And we wish you peace. Deuces.